Okay, we will recite the mantra and the Bodhicitta verse, page 4 of the book. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I'm going to recite the same verse in Tibetan. Sanje joda zoge jonam na janju bardo dane japsu che dage jinso gebe sonam toda benjire sanje jo barajo sanje joda zoge jonam janju bardo dane japsu che dage jinso gebe sonam Dola benjir sanje dubare sho sanje joda soge chonam la chanjo bardo tani kyapsuch age jinso gebe sonam ge dola benjir sanje dubare sho. The next page, page 6. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramana yesva. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramana yesva. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramana yesva. Heart Sutra Mantra. Deyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhisvatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhisvatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhisvatyata. Okay, continuation from where we left this morning. The Buddha indicated that the actions that we engage in, whatever action that we engage in, good actions, bad actions, whatever, we see that there are the three classes. One, the one who engages in negative actions, negative deeds. Negative deeds, This is because of their failure to understand the efficacy of cause and effect relationship. In other words, the efficacy of the law of karma. When you don't understand, or when you disregard, or when you don't have a conviction in the efficacy of the law of karma, then naturally people tend to engage in things which are very short-term benefit, and in the long run can destroy oneself. Nothing but like 10 non-virtuous karmas, the physical, verbal, mental actions, which are totally destructive to yourself and others. So this one kind of action. And the second one is where you engage in virtues, good actions. Then verse 3. Can you guess? So what I said is that all actions that we engage in can be classified into 3 groups. One, very destructive actions like killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, and telling lies, abusing others, insulting others. These are all very destructive actions. Second class of actions, very virtuous. Helping others, empathy, compassion, generosity, and all forms of good, the actions. So can you imagine the third one? What the third one would be like? Anyone? Some actions which are mixture of both, or anybody else? Anyone else? No action. That's interesting. Neutral, like what? Neutral like? Drinking water? Yeah, that's true. Drinking water, sleeping, that's best. Okay, so 3 kinds of actions are there. And let me give you a clue. This is very important. And given that we are doing the text, the 70 verses on emptiness, which is going to be very complicated, we need a good background. We need to feel that. When somebody starts to feel the benefit of this, then your mind will invariably delve into this with full commitment, and that way you will see that you can really go deep into the reality, very different from how you otherwise delve into. So let's see that in our dreams we commit actions. We engage in actions in dreams. Yes, in dreams. Sometimes we fight with people in the dreams. Yes. How many of you and the 40 in your dreams? Raise hands. Never fought in your dreams. Raise hands. Never fought. Even verbally, never fought with anybody else in the dream. Okay, which means that we did engage in something very weird. There's one, the father of my friend, who, when he was hospitalized and finally he was brought to my place for his recovery. At that point, what happened was that he was vegetarian. He passed away already. He was vegetarian. And he said that, what happened? I don't know. Nowadays, I'm dreaming of, let's say, the partaking or relishing the non-veg food. It's such an inauspicious dream. So he does not engage in a non-vegetarian, but in dream, he dreamed of these things. So we have, bad dreams where actions involved. Even the actions are very destructive actions, like fighting and so forth, bad things. Then sometimes good actions also, we also do good actions in the dream. How many of you had that at least once, twice in dream? Raise your hands. More than one time? Good. Or never anything good that I did in my dream? Never. You never did anything good in your dream. Okay, so we also did good things in the dream, right? So now can you imagine a state which is, which of the two is superior? Doing bad things in dream and doing pleasant, the virtuous things in the dream. Which is better? Doing virtuous is better. And then even doing virtuous things in the dream, and there's some problem there. What's the problem in that? It's a dream. So what's the if it is a dream? What's the problem? It doesn't benefit. It doesn't benefit, but it doesn't harm also. So it's not bad. So what's wrong with it? No, it's something good in the dream. That's good. No, the question is, what's wrong with the dreams where you engage in virtues? What's wrong with this dream? Oh, ego. So in the dream, you just imagine that I control my ego. In the dream, yes. In the dream, controlling ego is a good thing. Then, so what's wrong with it? No, what's wrong with it? Just enjoy. Don't make your life miserable. Right? When you're happy, just enjoy it. What's wrong with it? Just say, so ego, you good to eat food. I really enjoy the food. It's ego. You drive a good car, but that's ego. You don't put a nice dress, this is ego. You go to deer park, beautiful weather, this is ego. Then what is Buddhism? Buddhism means eat something very trash food. And with the clothes, very dirty clothes. Right? Earlier you look a very smart girl, smart boy. Now you look a very shabby boy, girl. No, this is not Buddhism. Right? So what's wrong with it? Don't make the life very boring. Right? What's wrong with that? Anyone?
You don't get actual sleep.
Okay. Okay. So some people need only not the many hours of sleep. They can have like 4 or 5 hours quality sleep. That's good enough. And the pleasant dream is nice.
It's not reality.
What's the problem if it's not real?
So you're not living in the real world.
No, it doesn't. Why should you have to live in the real world? Huh?
There's no difference between the good and bad if it's not real.
Oh, that's interesting. Of course, there's a difference there. In the dream, pleasant dream, where you do something virtuous, even physiologically is a healing for you. Unpleasant dream is very disturbing. Disturbing is not healthy. If this unpleasant dream continues for like 4 or 5, is a whole 1 week or 10 days, your body can really go bad. Okay. You don't have any control over what's going in the dream. Very good. Anything else?
What's wrong with that?
Which one?
Like having
No
no control.
control. You want to, so that you have to, before you ask a question, you have to check yourself. You want to keep the remote control with you, or you want to give the remote control to your younger brother when you're watching television? First answer this, and then you ask the question. You're getting it?
Geshe, we do not have the freedom to choose the dream.
Okay, and then say it louder.
We do not have the freedom to choose the dream. Like, for example, if I want to have a good dream tonight, so I do not have the freedom. It is not in my hands.
Okay, so what I want to say is that even if it's a virtuous dream, but you don't have freedom. The problem with this dream is that you don't have the freedom to choose this, and we are seeking freedom. So lack of freedom itself is misery. You getting it? Lack of freedom. We don't have the freedom to choose this dream. For example, in a way, what the Anu is saying is that how many like to have the audience with His Holiness the Dalai Lama? Raise hands. Audience with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Raise hands. Okay. When we say this Ajirji is a problem, now we have to apply for the audience. Okay. So just imagine that in the dream, you have a very pleasant dream of having audience with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And His Holiness tells you, Ajirji, why not we have a cup of tea together? How many are happy with this? Raise hands. Very happy. Okay, how many like to have this dream tonight? Raise hands. How many of you like to have this dream tonight? Raise hands. All of you. Okay, my question to you. How many of you will have this dream tonight? Raise hands. No one? Why not? It's a very pleasant dream. It's very pleasant, auspicious dream. Why are you not going to have this dream tonight? Why not? We cannot choose. We cannot choose. No control. This is the problem of the dream. The dream, although it's very pleasant, it can be very pleasant, but you don't have the control to choose it. Number one. So, lack of freedom is, you don't have the freedom to choose this dream. Lack of freedom is misery. So even the dream, even the pleasant dream is a form of misery. So if you don't want this misery, what do you do? Wake up, right? So there are three kinds of actions. Actions driven with negativities, negative actions. Actions, virtuous actions, but believing the dream is real. Then the third, wake up, the action of waking up from the dream. There are three actions here. And usually this is the example that I give. And so let's say that and particularly what Anu said, let's put it like this. Say that you have a very pleasant dream, followed by, in the same flow of the dream, the pleasant part of the dream was followed by a very tragic incident in the dream, extremely tragic incident in the dream. And then incident where you were dying. And you think that now I'm dying. So at that point, when you say, I'm done, for example, like, say going for a picnic, a very pleasant dream, going for a picnic after 2 years of lockdown, and extremely pleasant, the moment, particularly with people who you like, who are your very dear friends, and suddenly there's earthquake, landslide, flood, and then you're almost being sucked into, the flood, into the ocean. You think, now I'm dead. When you say, I'm dead, your mother wakes you up. 3 moments. Of these 3 moments, which do you like the most? First one, second one, third one. First one is going for a picnic after 2 years of lockdown. Picnic with your family members, with your very dear friends. The second moment, in the peak of your enjoying the picnic, there's a sudden earthquake, landslide, and then you're just washed away by the flood, and you think that now I'm dead. And when you think I'm dead, your mother wakes you up. Okay, 3 moments. Of the 3, tell me, which do you prefer the most? The third one, the waking up. Waking up. Why not the first one? First one is nice. Huh? What's the problem is a dream. What's the problem if it's not real? Huh? Then why do you have to enjoy your beautiful breakfast? Again, to want to eat it again? Huh? Okay, tell me. What's the problem with the first dream? Huh? If you're not attached, it's fine, right? Right. For example, just enjoy this juice. enjoy this juice, but don't have attachment. Somebody says, okay, now I'll take it away, it's fine. Okay, so what's the problem with the first drink? Comfort. Comfort meaning the first dream is very comfortable. Okay, but I know that this juice will not last long. I know that. So what's the problem? If I know that if I know that it doesn't last long, then is it fine? It's not fine. What's the problem? No, what I'm saying is that yes, the best thing is the lasting comfort. But even if it is short, it doesn't matter. The juice, I'll just have it, and if somebody takes it away. So the first sip I enjoyed it, good. And some people, they're very smart. When they go to the pubs, they know the moderation. They take what do you call it, the first shot, and then stop there. First place, many people, they cannot stop, right? First, second, third, and then they destroy themselves. Where some people, they're very smart. They take the 2 shots, finish, stop there. That's very good. What's the problem? Anybody? This is very important. You, me, we all have to think about these things. These are so precious. These will change our emotional world. These will change our experiential world. Right? So what's the problem with this dream? The first part of the dream. You all said that you want the third part, which is waking up. Why not the first one? Why not? Lack of freedom. How? Okay, lack of freedom. So from this, do you see? Yes, of course. I cannot choose this dream. I don't have the freedom to choose this dream. Okay, this. And then this is very profound. But most of us, when you think about it, it's not really a problem. It's not really a problem. So this leads to many other problems which we can easily identify as problem. Can anyone share with us what's the problem? Finally, this is the problem, lack of freedom. That's the problem. But, for example, samsara. What's the problem with samsara? Right? Samsara is the worst thing. But ordinary people, they don't understand what samsara is. So with samsara, then within samsara, you see there are some are pleasant experience, some are unpleasant experience, some are extremely painful experiences. So what are the things? What's the problem with this taking us into extremely miserable experiences? Anyone? Unaware. Ignorance is bliss. Unaware, ignorance. So that is blissful. And not to know what's going around, the bad things, right? It keeps you, for example, say some people, they go through so much tension, stress, hearing so many news. I deliberately tell them to keep ignorant of the news. Don't listen to this news, is what I tell them. Unaware. What's the problem? Yes.
The change, because feels like this good dream and then bad dream.
Yes. So there's pleasant dream. Pleasant dream itself has this. Itself has this lack of freedom. You say, okay, so what's the problem? Then not only that, then it does not stay there as the Pinzola, as Pinzola said, it does not stay there as pleasant all the time. It changes from the very pleasant picnic to the landslide, flood, changes. So the who has a more problem? Somebody who earns, let's say in dollars. Somebody who earns, may say $5,000 per month. Earlier, $2,000, and now increased to $5,000 per month. Another person who gets $10,000 who was getting $10,000 per month, COVID time, cut to $7,000 per month. Who's happier? First one or the second person? First one is like getting less.
Lesser than the second person.
Yes.
More than what he was earning earlier.
Okay, so the first one is getting less than the second one, but the first person is very happy to see that, as to see the increment. Second person is very unhappy because of the, what do you call it? Deduction. What do you call it? Because of the cut, pay cut, right? Because of the pay cut, there's a problem there. So it's not the object per se. It's not the object. When in comparison with the first pleasant moment, comparison to that second moment is terrible. Terrible. So that is the pain. In comparison, then you start to feel the pain. Okay, so the best thing is wake up. Wake up. It's for this reason that the Buddha Shakyamuni is revered as the fully awakened one. So next question is, how to wake up? How to wake up? Okay, this is so important. So with this, I'd like to also take you to this. Let's say, what's the difference between, let's say, okay, let's say, waking up of these three moments. This is so important. The first moment, very pleasant dream. Second moment, very unpleasant dream. Third moment, waking up. Of the three, we all preferred. Okay, I said all, we all preferred, but I want to make sure that we all. Raise your hands, those who said that. Now, even if you are going to change your mind. So the third one is the best. Raise your hands. Third one is waking up. Is the best. Raise your hands. Okay. Those who are not sure, raise your hands. Are you sure? Not sure? Are you sure? Not sure? Are you not sure? Not sure? Huh? Not sure? Not sure? Or sure? Not sure? Huh? Not sure. Okay. So this is extremely important. This is extremely important. And so therefore, those people, say, in the dream, doing negative, destructive actions. This is one. Those people in the dream, doing virtuous, number two. Those people waking up, engaging in the act of waking up. Of the three, the third one is the supreme. This is the liberation. You wake up, you will be freed from all problems related to the dream. You agree with me or not? You wake up, you are free from all problems related to the dreams. Right? Okay. So, in a way, what is happening around you? Coming to deer park, going to the office. Lucky that the people here, they're so kind to entertain. And the food, the breathing the oxygen, and very beautiful weather, the breeze, so nice. But we have own, in some ways there's some, it's not like, say for example, it is not like in your own house. So, and then going back again, some of you might have already thought about how to go back, right? What's my train? What's my flight? You must have thought about it already. How many thought about it? In a sense? Return. Right? Okay. So you don't enjoy even this beautiful place. While you are here, right? You came here to enjoy, and then you already think about going back. Okay, so this is the problem of the dream. This is the problem of the dream. So all these minute, macro, micro problems in the dream will stop only if you wake up. So this is the meaning of the liberation. So all what is happening around, this is like being in a dream. Being in a dream. So, say for example, dream, there are two kinds. One is conventional dream. Other one is unconventional dream. There are two dreams. And we all wake up from the conventional dream every day. But from the unconventional dream, I cannot be 100% sure, but I can be 99% sure that we have never woken up from this dream since time immemorial till today. We have never woken up from this unconventional dream. So just as you wake up from the conventional dream, you're freed from any contents of the conventional dream. Likewise, we wake up from the unconventional dream of your family, of your country, of the neighboring countries, the neighbors, the car accidents, the COVID-19, whether you get vaccine or not vaccine, should I get it, not get it? No, I will not get it. I will get it. And saying this is a fraud. No, this is so good. All these things are just like another layer of dream. So, but we have never woken up this from dream. This dream has been just going on endlessly since beginningless time and still going on. And when will it stop? When will this dream stop? It will never stop on its own. It will never stop on its own. It will just continue. It will just continue endlessly. Unless until we put some effort. So, say, if this is like a dream, what is happening now? You go home, say some problems, some more things come into deer park, very pleasant, is like a restful state. People are very helpful. For example, in Tibet house, many people they say that the people in their own respective places, when they come to Tibet house, all like-minded people come. Like-minded people come who seek something deeper meaning, compassion, and so they come. The moment they come to Tibet house, they meet with other friends, then they feel at ease. This is likewise here, Deer Park. People come all the way from Singapore, and then from where? Malaysia, and then from Israel, where? Spain, right? And then so people come all the way from Delhi, from Chennai. They come all the way from different places. And when they come here, they meet with like-minded people. Like-minded people, you feel so happy. Most likely, we don't really oftentimes experience this ambience, this environment, and the very pleasant weather. You don't really have to worry about anything, right? Food, there's ready-made food there. The place so clean, fresh air, so beautiful. So the point is that this is also a part of dream. It's also part of it. Again, you finish the course, we go to respective places. This is all a part of a dream. So this is what? Unconventional dream. And in this unconventional dream, let us be very honest. Let us be very honest. And what is this like, your life, thus far? So most of you are in your 20s and 30s. This is what I can see. And it's like, what is that like? Is it really, overall speaking, very pleasant or unpleasant? A mixture of both? Mixture of both. Mostly you will say mixture of both, right? And which is more intense? The very unpleasant, the very corrosive, unpleasant heaviness. Do you agree with me that one moment of such an unpleasant, extremely unpleasant, the mental state, that is extremely powerful to nullify all the beautiful moments of the past? You agree with me? One moment is good enough. Extremely unpleasant feeling is good enough to nullify all the past wonderful experiences, the merriments, the festivities, celebrations, birthday parties, however hundreds you have experienced before, all are simply, nullified. Just one moment of the whole life is so hollow, meaningless, gloomy, You felt it? Once in a while, you felt it? Okay, so so this is something extremely painful. And we never know that at present we are all very, if this is what we're going through now, today, for sure you will not come here. Coming to Deer Park, suddenly you felt that, the heaviness, corrosion, deep sadness. If that hits you, for example, this afternoon, for sure you will not come here. You will go somewhere else, you will rest in room. But the fact that you are here means it's not happening to you now. But will it happen or not happen? We never know. How many agree with me? How many you agree with? Gentlemen, your name? Navinji, your name? Indrajit ji. Okay, how many agree with two of them? That it may happen to me any time, presents. Let's not forget, it's very scary. It's very scary. It may happen to us any time. It's not just, oh, that unfortunate person, that unlucky person, it happened to him, it happened to her. No, it can happen to any one of us at any time. So this is very scary. So since that we have been living in this world, there's no choice other than to live in this world. So therefore, somebody's going like this, somebody's going like that. Had it been the case that there's no choice for us, and if we are put in this situation, then it's very scary. It's extremely scary. Extremely scary. And very scary. So, if you think about these, and if it really makes you deeply go into depression, then don't think about it for time being. We have to gradually learn. Whereas if you think about it, and if you give a sense of urgency in you, sense of urgency that, okay, yes, now I should be more serious with my life. Anytime I can be hit with the news that, okay, Dorji, you're suffering from cancer. We never know. Don't think that he's radically so inauspicious. Anytime it can happen. So, if that's the case, just apply it not to somebody else, apply it to yourself. Anytime some problem, it was like back in, I think about 12, 13 years ago, suddenly I had this pain here at the left rib. And then for 3 days, I had a checkup, it's tuberculosis. I did not expect it at all. Suddenly, and I told the doctor that, how do you know that it's tuberculosis? Because the doctor asked me to do biopsy. I did biopsy, and then the report was given to me by the, radiologist. He gave me the report to be given to my doctor. And I read the report before I handed over to the doctor. I read it there, and then it's like normal. I gave it to the doctor, and the doctor read it and said that this is tuberculosis. And I so audaciously asked him, how do you know this is tuberculosis? For you, there's the only information that you, on the basis of which you deduce is this paper. This paper, I also read it. I told him. And he became really angry. He said that you are so lucky that it is tuberculosis. I thought it is cancer. That's what he told me. We never know. We should be very honest, right? Let us not run away from these realities. Let us not run away. But if there's no solution, if there's no solution, then that's a different story. We run away, and when it hits you, so what? But if there's a solution, why not we think about it way ahead of time, and then look for a solution so that we can be matured in our thinking, that eventually to see how to get rid of these problems altogether. This is a very serious point. So with this, the point is that how to wake up. How to wake up. So the Buddha said that those people who don't see the efficacy of law of karma, they tend to engage in non-virtuous actions, because of which they go through manifest sufferings, hunger, thirst, and so forth. And those people who believe the dream is real, and who believe in rebirth, law of karma, but they've seen the dream is real, they engage in virtuous actions, and they go in the higher states of existence, in samsara. And those people who know that both are not true, non-virtuous drama is also not true, virtuous drama is also not true. So these people, they see the non-true reality of the first two these situations. These beings will be liberated. They are the wise. They are liberated from samsara altogether. So 3. Of the 3, while we are in samsara, of course we have to engage in virtues. Because within samsara, like in the dream, bad dreams, good dreams, both are not true, but which is better? If there's no choice other than have the dreams, go for the better dream. Go for the nice dream rather than the unpleasant dream. Don't say that both are not real, so therefore for me there's no difference. No, there's difference. The unpleasant dreams can give rise to pains in you. Pleasant dreams can heal you physiologically. But if you wake up, that is the best. That's the best. So that none of the contents of the dream can affect you. That is a total freedom. So we go through what is known as the unconventional dream. We go through the unconventional dream. And from this unconventional dream, we have never woken up in for a single moment thus far. So, because of which, if you really read some of the points which the Buddha indicated, they are very scary. And the Buddha indicated not to scare us, but to share with us the reality. So in our case, it's not that everybody is same. Where some people, they think about these realities of the miseries of life, and they start to panic. One. Some people, they get a sense of urgency. They're more energized. They're more energized to look for the solutions. Number 2. So these are 2 possibilities for when hearing about this. Whereas if you, in case that you, by reflection on these, if you go deep into depression, stop, reflect on these. This is my suggestion to you. If you do, by reflection on these points, if you go through depression means where you lose your energy. You feel drained. You're left with no energy to go any further. And you feel so scared. If that is happening, you must discuss with good teachers for stop these reflections. So this is how we have to know how to treat yourself properly. And for those people who feel a sense of urgency, deep urgency, can also be, some people may see that as a kind of depression, but it may not be depression. If you feel the energy to look for the solution, that is so precious. That is so precious. Whereas if you, but reflect on these, still nothing happens, no sense of urgency, or no fear, nothing, which means that you continue to see the dream as not dream. Right? Even these as stories. Stories, you are not affected. So it doesn't matter, it's fine. It's fine. But the point is that what do you want? We want total fearlessness. Let's not forget this. We want infinite happiness. How many are serious with that? Raise hands. How many want to get away from miseries completely? Okay, those who raise your hands, how many were serious with it? Raise hands. Okay, good. If you're very serious, then this reflection must be done, because sense of urgency should come. And in the process, if you do feel like burnout feeling, and I think that today's people of 21st century, particularly Western educated, not Western, modern educated people, and who are born in a very luxurious, but affluent family, or whether you are a pampered child, these people can, by reflection on these, instantly they will feel burnout, because they don't have the experience of what is misery. Whereas those people from childhood have been through a difficult, tough time, but able to manage to get out of these problems, still hold on to the proper track. These people will not feel burnout, can feel say, the sense of emergence, sense of urgency. But if you do feel burnout, it doesn't mean that you are the pampered child. It doesn't mean that. Simply, even those people, it depends greatly not only in this life, in your past life also. Past life experiences can also affect you in this life. So with this, we should be very skilled. And the point is, let's not forget. You may be wondering, what are we discussing? We're getting lost. No, the two goals. Whatever we are doing, discussing, say the group discussion, teachings, whatever, don't forget the two goals. One, it should be related to total fearlessness and infinite happiness. Okay, so for this, we are talking about that in the dreams, we can do bad things, good things, bad things. So in the conventional world, this is the unconventional dream. In the unconventional dream, we do bad things. This is because of the lack of conviction in the law of karma. And the result is that we will experience miseries. And some people, they do virtues. They do virtues, believing in the law of karma, at the same time believing the world, conventional dream as, not dream as real. And then you engage in virtues. Result is happiness within the dream. Happiness within the dream. And some people who are wise come to realize both the dreams. Both the dreams. When do you realize both the dreams? In the dream or outside the dream? Huh? Are you sleeping half sleep? You are not sure. Okay, when do you discover that? Dream as dream. In the dream or when you wake up? When you wake up, louder. Hey. When do you realize the dream as dream? In the dream or outside the dream?
Sometimes you can also realize you're dreaming.
Okay. Sometimes we have lucid dreams. REM sleep. Lucid dreams. But in the dream, you realize that you're dreaming. Good. But generally, when does it happen? Outside the dream, inside dream? Outside dream. What do you mean? How can you come out of the dream? Wake up. Again the same. You're getting it? Okay. So let's see that in the dream, you see dream as real. When does it happen? In the dream, outside the dream? In the dream. Seeing the dream as real, is this ignorance or wisdom? Seeing the dream as real, ignorance or wisdom? Ignorance, and it happens in the dream. What's the outcome? The fears arise. Right? So, the outcome of the ignorance is the fear that happens in the dream. Outcome of, seeing the dream as not real is ignorance or wisdom? Wisdom. And it happens when? In the dream or waking up? Waking up. And what's the outcome? That all your fears of dream stops. So, seeing the dream as dream, seeing the dream as not real. This is wisdom. And what's the outcome? What is the outcome of that? Outcome of that is all your fears of the dream stops. Right? Fear stops. That is known as the fearlessness, state of fearlessness. Okay. Now with this, having said this, this is, in a way, we're going a little fast. Right? In a way, we're going a little fast. Okay. So, Rajinder, not today. Tomorrow we need a flower. We have, good. Okay. So there's no freedom to choose the flowers. There's only one flower. Right? So, okay. Is this the same flower from 3 years ago? Okay. But 3 years ago, there were three of them. Okay. Okay. So now, let's see. Okay, good. Now, my question to you is that Okay, let's say that what is, say, this flower in my right hand and the dream flower. What is the difference between these two? The flower in my right hand and the dream flower. What's the difference? Anyone? There's so many differences. And don't think that I'm looking for philosophical answers. Just give, as long as it is coming from your real thought or from heart or from the real thought, it's perfect. Anyone? This is real flower and the dream flower is not real. Very good. And dream flower is not plastic. Okay, say the plastic flower and the dream plastic flower. What's the difference? This plastic flower and the dream plastic flower. What's the difference? One is real, one is not real. Any more? J? Which other one? This flower. Okay, don't say other one. Right? Okay, we don't need the senses to experience this dream flower. But we do need the sense to experience this real flower. Very good. Here? Okay, others, they cannot see this flower.
The dream flower is not common experience.
No. You tell me. Who others? Okay, so this flower, all others can see. But your name? Indrajitji's the dream flower is not what others can see. That's very, very beautiful way of saying it. Yes. In other, there are so many differences. Tell me, yes.
The amount of space, one catches space, one is not.
One occupies space. If we have like thousands of these flowers, right? But millions of this same flower, we need 2, 3, 4 the big size halls. But trillions of this flower, you sleep in a tiny room, still you can have it. Right? It doesn't occupy space. Wonderful. Any more differences? This flower you can touch and feel. The dream flower you cannot touch and feel. Very good. And the dream flower can change into chocolate. Dream chocolate, but not real chocolate. But this flower will never change into chocolate. Yes, that's true. Any more? I say it again. Return. Okay. Then you're not sure. You're not sure. You dream of this flower, and the next moment, whether you can revisit this, you're not sure. 100% true. Any more differences?
This flower came from a seed, and the dream flower came from the mind.
Good. This flower came from, let's say, from a seed, and the dream flower just is not necessary from a seed. It can come from the dream chocolate. Right? Dream chocolate. Dream flower can come. Yes. Or from the mind it came. Yes.
The observer changes. Like in the dream, you might be someone else looking at this flower.
Okay. Yes, the observer changes. So here also the observer change. Right? I'm seeing it. No, I close your eyes and you change. You see it.
No. There's a sense of I which can change in the dream. Maybe.
Okay, you can also change, right? In the real life.
And not as dramatic.
Not as dramatic as how it happens in the dream. That's true? Good. Okay, anyone else? Okay, the definition dream flower. Of course, there must be definition. Right? Because we can make a distinction between dream flower and dream chocolate. Right? Dream flower, dream and demon, we can make a distinction. So the fact that you're able to make a distinction, some meaning is coming to your mind. Anyone else? More?
The dream flower is kind of a creation of my mind, but it does not have any substance or something like that. But this flower, because it looks real, so it has that substance, and we can see that there is some object over there.
Wonderful. Okay. Now let us say, if we are to put all these answers together, we can say that what Anu said is can be like, anyway, the thing is that I like to go in this direction, what Anu said, but all what he said before, all this can be taken to take us to understand it closer towards what Anu said. That this is something which is there, whether I'm here or not here, I can come back to see it. But the dream one is purely comes from a mind, and it's not really from the object. How many agree with Anu and here and there? Dream flower is just purely comes from a mind, but this flower is not really from your mind. Don't think that you are big philosophers. You're getting it? Just imagine you're an ordinary person like I am, right? So this is something there. I can revisit it anytime I like to. Yeah, I'll go back to Delhi. Still, if I miss this, I can come back. But if I miss the dream flower, I cannot go back. If I'm lucky, it may come back. If I'm not lucky, it will not come back. Okay. So the point is that one is purely coming from a mind. One is from the object. One is from the subject. One is from the object, right? The dream flower is purely coming from the subject, whereas this flower is coming from the object in a loose sense. How many agree with me? Raise hands. Good.
I must disagree with myself in this point, because the dream flower chocolate is also rooted from seeing a chocolate and seeing a flower and bringing them together. So it's also rooted in the objective world.
But the external object did not become the dream chocolate, right?
No, but it's rooted there.
No,
If you not seen a flower, you will not dream it.
Okay.
You must have seen the flower and the chocolate.
Okay. So what the Omananda is saying is, that let's say that Omananda's, let's say the water bottle. I look at it, oh, that's nice, right? That's nice. Then I fall asleep. I dream of Omananda giving me the water bottle, right? So that water bottle in the dream, that is not coming from your water bottle. It simply left an imprint, photograph. Imprint and the actual water bottle, these two are different. So where is this flower, let's say, the substance-wise, it came from somewhere else. In loose sense, this flower, substance-wise, it came from somewhere else. But I look at it, tonight I have a dream of this substance doesn't become that dream. So this is left there, but simply it left an imprint in my mind. That imprint activates in the form of the visual appearance of the flower. So these two should not be mixed up. One is the substance and the other is the imprint. Okay.
But the substance is also an imprint in the mind.
Okay. What is substance? Let us not begin with philosophy. Begin with your real life. Begin with real life, then you'll touch the philosophy, it becomes a philosophy. If you begin with a philosophy, you will never become a philosopher. So you have to say, first you have to say, there's a difference there. This, for example, hand and imprint of the hand. You're getting it? Say there's a clay. There's a clay there. I put my hand on the clay, press a little bit, and bring back my hand. Part of my hand goes to the clay. No, my hand did not go to the clay, but the clay, there's a print there in the clay. My hand print is there. Hand print is not my hand. Let's not mix it up. So this hand comes out. So this hand is the continuum of the earlier hand before it pressed the clay. You getting it? But this clay, this is not the imprint of my hand on the clay is not a part of the hand. It's just imprint. These two should not be mixed up. So this distinction must be made. The thing is that you must begin with the reality that you live in. Reality that you live in and reality as you think. Finally, this philosophy is not to change the Buddha's mind, it's to change our mind. It's to change our mind means our mind which has a very basic thinking. This is what is to be transformed. So we should always begin from what your level of understanding is, how you see the world in your own ways. You getting it? Is there a difference between this flower and the dream flower? This flower and the dream flower. Is there a difference? Yes, there's a difference. All of you, all the differences that you made, let me put them into what Anu, Omananda, and the gentleman over there, what's your name? Huh? Freelan. Vedant. Okay. Vedant, what two of you, what all you've said, let me summarize into these 3 points. Is that this flower, there's something from the object, something's there. And dream flower is purely coming from the mind. Okay, how many agree with me with hands? There's this difference. Good. So now to take us a little bit into technicalities. In technical sense, what we call as, there's something there from the object, we call it objective reality. Something coming from my subjective mind, we call it subjective reality. You getting it? So if I tell you what's the difference between this flower and the dream flower, you can say that this flower is objective real and the dream flower is subjective real. You're getting it? In a loose sense. Over time, we'll come to discover, we come to first learn how even what we today call as objective flower, objective flower, we'll come to realize that even that is subjective. So this is something which we are going to learn eventually. You're getting it? So what is being introduced here is the concept of subjectivity and objectivity. This is introduced. Objective reality and subjective reality. Okay. So what's the difference between waking up and in the dream? In the dream, what do you see in the dream is subjective reality or objective reality? It's subjective reality. You're getting it? It's subjective reality. When do you know the dream as subjective reality? In the dream or outside dream? Okay. To know what do you mean by, in the dream you see the dream as objective reality or subjective reality? Objective reality. Wow, in one day, you reach to such a level of profound understanding. So in the dream, you see the dream as objective reality. When you wake up, you see dream as subjective reality. Very good. Okay. Now, waking up. Become means that to see things as subjectively real. That things are empty of objective reality. You're getting it? Okay, so let's say the dream is the dream. If I ask you now, the dream is a subjective or objective? Hey, the dream is a subjective or objective? Okay, objective, subjective has many meanings. You're getting it? So all the efforts that we put in thus far is to make this distinction between this flower and the dream flower. So what we said is that this flower is objective real and the dream flower is subjective real. This is what we said. So let us say for the next 7 days, when you see subjective objective, it should not be mixed up with other concepts. It doesn't mean that other concepts are wrong, but given that it has so many meanings, let's confine this meaning of the objectivity and subjectivity on the basis of the difference between the real flower and the dream flower. Real flower is subjective real, and the dream flower is subjective real. You getting it? Okay. So the so dream, is it subjective real or objective real? Subjective. Okay. What about mirage? Mirage. Subjective? Objective? Huh? Raise your hands, those who said subjective. Raise your hands, those who say objective. Mirage. Mirage is objective. Oh. Okay. Mirage is the subjective. We need many examples. We need many examples. And in fact, 3D movies, I don't know how, I've never watched 3D movies. How many of you watch it? Raise hands. 3D movies. I never watched a 3D movie. 3D movies, it looks so real, right? But when you come out of this, is subjective reality or objective real? It's a very good example of subjective reality, right? Okay, what about rainbow? Subjective, objective? Raise your hands those who say objective. Raise your hands those who say objective. Raise your hands those who say subjective. Rainbow. Okay, what arguments do you have? Those who said objective against those who said subjective. Raise your hands. Those who said objective, what arguments do you have against those who said subjective? The mirage is subjective. What? Huh? Rainbow, yes. Anyone? What arguments do you have? Yes.
According to the context you mentioned.
Yes, Omananda?
The context you presented.
Yes.
The argument against rainbow being subjective is that several people can see it at the same time as an object. So therefore,
Okay, one is that it is not what it is from the object. It's from the object. Many people can see the same thing. Okay, good. Your name? Ipshita. Okay, Ipshita, tell me. You are in favor of objectivity or subjectivity of the rainbow? Okay, subjectivity, the argument against objectivity is that the moment you say, do you see rainbow here? From this direction, you go to that direction, you will not see the rainbow. You see the reference, you change the referent, instantly the rainbow disappears. Right? But the other person continues to see the rainbow, other person does not see the rainbow. Very good. Anyone else? Yes?
It's in a dream that it's subjective, but if you are at a place where most people can see it, and if the environment has rain, and then sun after that.
When I say rainbow is rainbow, it's not dream rainbow. Right? Don't bring the dream. Right? I said rainbow, I just said dream rainbow. I'm very clear.
If it's while you're awake, in this moment awake, then yeah.
So I don't think somebody in sleep can see the rainbow. Can only see the dream rainbow. Right? Right?
more than one person can see it.
Okay, more than one person can say it, that is objective. More than one person can say it, that's objective.
It is not subjective. Maybe you cannot say it is objective, but you can disqualify.
Yeah, you can disqualify that as subjective.
More than one.
If more than one person sees it, it is not subjective. Why not?
According to the parameters you defined earlier, in the dream rainbow, the dreamer can see.
Yes.
And in this context, two people can see, unless they are dream people that see your dream, you can dream yourself the others. But that is going infinite loop.
Yes.
Take it back to more simple terms.
Perfect. More than one person sees it, it is not subjective.
It's not subjective. You cannot maybe say it's subjective, but you can disqualify it.
It's ruled out it to be subjective. Good?
Don't you think we need always a reference, as he said, I'm on both the sides.
those who have not seen, talking about that is subjectivity.
We're not talking whether it is seen as objective to some people. This is not my question. Is it objective or subjective? Right, this is the question. Yes, over there.
It's in the vision of light. So if also we said in the dream, water doesn't take up real space, then also the rainbow doesn't take up real space. You can only see it, but you can't feel it.
So it is subjective?
Yes.
Okay. Subjective. Anybody else? But what the dreams, the dream flower, can you take a photograph of that? You cannot take a photo. But the rainbow, you can take a photograph of that. Here, where? And the dream rainbow also requires causal conditions, right? You must have seen a dream before, the rainbow before. Of course, in the dream rainbow can come, although not rainbow. Okay, Losangla.
For this case, I want to as an objective because it's a phenomenon. So everything which is phenomenon should be objective.
Anything which is a phenomenon should be objective. Why?
Because over at the ground we are right now saying that she could be one to see that if you change from another angle, then it will
Disappears, yes.
And it's the same case for the mirage and all the things. So for all the phenomena, if you look from the deeper and deeper, then everything disappears.
So therefore, everything is subjective.
So actually, because if this flower,
No, what is your standpoint? Well, what is your standpoint? Rainbow, is it objective or subjective? First decide on this, and then we'll talk about this flower.
object,
Huh? So you said that it disappears. So this girl, Ishita, what she's saying is that the moment you change the referent, instantly from the other side, opposite side with reciprocal side from where you are seeing the flower, the rainbow, the opposite side, the rainbow disappears. So therefore it is subjective. This is what she's saying. If that is true, then everything should be subjective from your point of view, not objective. Okay, so everything is subjective, not objective. Perfect.
According to this definition, if two people stand on the road, one looking this side and one looking that side, and the trucks come from here, it will also crash the person who doesn't look at it. So it is real. So just the fact that someone does not see the rainbow does not exclude it from being an objective reality.
Was the example given? The truck, how?
Two people stand on the road, one looking this side.
This side?
He sees the truck, he doesn't see. When it comes, both will crash. Doesn't matter if it's really it's very objective. So that cannot be a definition. One sees and one not.
Ishita, hey, you have to defend your position. So both will be crushed. That's true. Both will be crushed. Right. Whether you see or not see, you will cry. So, Ishita, huh? No, so therefore, what Oma Nanda is saying is that it doesn't matter. You change the referent, whether you see it or not, it doesn't matter. It'll crush you both.
So you remove all doubts.
Yeah. So what? Yes. So Ishita, what would you say?
I would go by what Carl said that it's something that's happening that's playing out with my receptor cells in the eyes, whereas if I slightly move from a little bit, I can't see it. So how can I mean, yes, from a certain angle with light spitting, we can see the rainbow as a phenomena, but I don't know. I mean, that's an objective reality as such.
But if I place some mirrors in such a way that you cannot see the flower, will the flower become?
But if you're standing outside this mirage, how can mirage be a subjective reality? Because that's also a physical phenomenon happening. It's night bending and that's all.
Okay. So yes.
I can only way to differentiate one as an object and subject is whether it's a phenomenon or not.
If it's a phenomena, then it should be objective or subjective.
You mean that
So what's your position? I don't get it.
I have two positions.
Yes.
The first position is
If all phenomena,
if it is a phenomenon,
It should be.
it should. What can you get? In the sense, all phenomenal, substantial can be objective. If it's not phenomenal, so it can only be a subject.
Okay. Okay, now this exercise is extremely important. This exercise is important. Now with this, let me come up with a little bit of, say, the consolidate what we said thus far is that in the dream, you see dream is real. In the dream, you see the dream ghost as objective or subjective. In the dream, let me repeat it. In the dream, you see the dream ghost as objective or subjective? Objective. And what's the outcome? So much of fear. You agree? See, dream goes as objective. The outcome is so much of fear. The same dream goes, you wake up, you see this objective or subjective? Subjective, your fear dissolves. So there, the Buddha taught that everything is subjective. So if you discover that everything is subjective, nothing will create fear in you. All your fears will dissolve. And this is what we are seeking, yes? Total fearlessness. So if you're able to see everything as subjective, all your fears dissolve. So the next question is whether or not we can see that, whether or not we can see everything as subjective. So this should be our journey for the study of 70 verses to emptiness. 70 verses on emptiness. This is a journey to see everything as subjective. For that matter, yes? Yes.
If the rainbow comes here, everybody will take a phone to take photos.
Yes.
Really doesn't. So we can say it's objective or not, but in reality, everybody will take it as an object.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, that's true. So everybody, more than one person takes the photograph. Could take the photograph. More than one person. More than one person is, according to Omananda, more than one person is. If an object is seen by more than one person, this is not subjective, right? Objective is not sure, but it's not subjective. Yes. Okay. Okay, Ishita, yes.
Yeah, one presentation to Omananda. So you go to the science city in New Delhi. There are like different kinds of mirrors in which you see yourself as fat or thin. More than one person can see my image as fat or thin. But does that mean that that's a real thing or a phenomenon?
That's what you think.
Is that an objective reality, the image that I see inside?
Which one? The fat Ishita. The fat Ishita. Is that real or not? Is this your question?
Yes.
What yes?
Like, is that not?
Yes to which? Fat Ishita or fat Ishita pick the image?
The
Image or the fat Ishita?
okay,
Image to be fat?
Yes.
Fat Ishita or fat image of the Ishita?
That image.
These two are different. You're getting it? So fat image of the Ishita can be objective. Fat Ishita is subjective. You're not fat. You got it? You don't have to wait for his answer?
No, I got it. I'm wrong. I accept.
Okay, good. This answer that I gave.
No. What do you think of the rainbow?
Okay.
Would it be right to say?
So in future, the Ajirji, let us call only those people who are above 40 plus. Right? Younger ones, a great problem. What answer should I give? Okay.
Would it be right if I say that the rainbow does not have an existence of its own because it's an illusion, like somebody mentioned before? That's why it's subjective. It does not have an existence of its own. It's light.
It's a phenomenon of light, just like light has a property to light up things. It has a property to spin
let the torch hit you. Don't touch the torch, and the light hits you. I touch the light. See this? Otherwise, he's bullying you. Right? You're studying substance. Right? He's bullying you. Let the torch hit you. Don't touch any solid substance. This is where my hand is touching the light. Right? You have to. The way you attack me, you attack him also. Don't be biased. To the elders you attack. To the younger one you say yes, yes. Okay. The dream, what is that? Objective, subjective, still not decide. Not the rainbow. Okay. Okay. So now what we do is that if finally what we seek is to get off all fears. Is this possible? Not possible? This is a question. If, from what we learned, that dream goes, when we discover that it is subjective, our fears dissolve. How many agree with me, raise hands? How many are convinced with this, raise hands? That if I discover that the dream goes is subjective, my fear dissolves. The dream goes as subjective, my fear increases. Okay. And it so happens that the dream goes seen as subjective, that is wisdom. And the outcome is my fear dissolves. Dream goes seen as objective. That is ignorance. What is the outcome? The fear increases. And what do you want? You want the fear increase or you want the fear decrease? I want the fear decrease. Yes? If you want the fear decrease, what should you do? You should cultivate the wisdom or the ignorance. Which wisdom? Wisdom to see the dream goes as subjective. Okay, let's not forget it. Okay, so when I say that let me say that I want a non-book. I want something which is non-book. And you give this to me. You give this to me. Is it correct or not correct? I want a non-book. Did I get the non-book? No. Why? Because this is yes. This is not non-book. I'm looking for non-book. This is not non-book. There's double negation there. Double negation. Not non-book. Double negation is positive. So therefore, said, what did I get? I'm looking for non-book. And this is not the proper thing. Why? If you are a logician, you will say that this is not non-book. If you're not a logician, most likely you will say this is a book. These two are same answer. These two are same. This is a book. This is not non-book. Same. You getting it? Likewise, when we say that, the dream goes as subjective. The dream goes subjective. It means it is not objective. You agree? It is not objective. So, we see that, what is that wisdom which quells your dream fear, the fear in the dream? What is that wisdom which quells the dream fear of seeing the dream ghost? Is the wisdom to see the dream ghost as subjective. Or you can put it in a different way. The wisdom to see the dream ghost as not objective reality. You're getting it? Not objective reality. Not and empty, these two are same. So, say the dream goes as not objective real. Dream goes as empty of being objectively real. These two are same. So, empty of being objective reality is what is known as emptiness. 70 verses on emptiness. Emptiness, what is emptiness? Emptiness means the object is empty of being objectively real. You're getting it? So with this, what we see is that the fear related to dream ghost stops when I see that the dream ghost is empty of. Okay, these things at the moment, At the moment when I'm explaining this, you get a feeling that, oh, that's easy, yes, that's easy, yes, of course. And then the moment you leave this room, right, you try to recall what is said, everything's like same, right? Okay, so the one time in this same hall, we were talking about emptiness in the retreat, one of the early retreats, maybe I think about 5-6 years ago. And then during the break time, one girl came rushing to me, and Geshe, what you said is very true. So we said that ultimately nothing exists. Conventional, everything exists. So this hall is like the conventional reality. In this hall, everything's there. Outside this hall, ultimately nothing's there. And she said, that's very true. While I was in the hall, I get everything what you said. The moment I leave this hall, everything disappears. Everything disappears. The moment I leave this hall, this is what you said. Yeah. Okay. So the point is that the conviction that we get is that just say related to the dream ghost. The fear related to dream ghost stops when you get the wisdom to see that the dream ghost is empty of objective reality. So the emptiness of dream ghost, you see that the fear related to the dream ghost stops. From this, can you extrapolate it? Can you extend the same understanding, same principle to all phenomena? That all fears related to any phenomena will stop if I see the emptiness of objective reality of all the phenomena. Do you agree with me that this is very possible? If this is possible, then your next question is it that everything is empty of objective reality? Is it true that everything is objective reality? Can we see that? Answer is yes. Answer yes. How to see that? There's the next question. Okay, it's already 4:26. So till 5. Ajirji, huh? 5 to 6 we have, and the 4 to 5. 4 to 5 is treatment group discussion. 5 to 6 is teaching for. Okay, what we do is that we will do another 15 minutes of flow. Then you have tea plus group discussion. It can be like a little over 1 hour group discussion. And so take it easy, particularly just raise your hands like the people who are more exposed to this concept. Like Sonamla is there, Tejala is there, raise your hands. Dorji is there, and is there, of course, Ajir is there, those who are more exposed to this. And Omar, Kate, and Churul are there. Raise hands, those who already have. Namsala is there. Hey, Namsala, raise hand. Yeah. Okay, in other words, Ravish is there. There are several of you, right? I don't have to identify. And Lobsang is also there. Yes, so the point is that whether I identify you or not, it doesn't matter. The point is that those of you who are more exposed in a group discussion, please make it a point that let others speak. You encourage others to speak, and if they ask you questions, give the answers. And this will go for to first try to cover what we covered thus far. And if you have made notes, from the notes, try to eventually touch the technicalities, technical parts, like the 2 goals, the 2 imprints, 2 mental obscurations, and subjectivity, objectivity, subjective existence, objective existence. How getting the wisdom to see the subjectivity of the object dissolves of fears. How by the ignorance, seeing things objectively real, creates the triggers fear. So all these try to do. And if you want to go more, whether what rainbow is subject or objective, you also discuss on this. You may not be able to settle on it to the same. Sometimes things can be like just little clue. Sometimes things can be like, say, total black, total white, and then it's shaded. right? From black, it becomes more white. So what is the middle point? Is that white or black? Right? Reality is also like this. Some are very clearly subjective. No, in a loose sense. In a technical sense, everything is subjective, 100%. Even the rainbow is also subjective in a technical sense. In a loose sense, in a conventional loose sense, naive, the conventional world, from that point of view, things can be like, some are, so good, some are like so bad, some are like mixture of everything. These things are there. Finally, our job is to get rid of all our fears of life, the fears, to make totally, completely fearless. And how to attain that? One clue that we got is that to be able to see everything as subjective real, or everything is empty of objective reality. So this is somehow, whatever we learn, we should be able to take them to eventually touch that area, to see the relevance to acquiring the total fearlessness, the infinite happiness. That part is yet to be discussed. Okay, so with this, I'd like to quickly complete this part so that from tomorrow we can go into the emptiness part. So next part we discuss is about, how to get rid of these two mental obscurations. How to get rid of these two mental obscurations. And we got one idea, is to see the subjectivity of things. This is a very important aspect we have learned today. And I say the two obscurations are there. One is known as, what are the obscurations? Afflictive obscurations and cognitive obscurations. So to eradicate these two mental defilements, we have to, let's say that the mud, if your hand is in mud, how would you wash it? Just put in the water, it'll disappear, right? And then so I don't really need to buy detergent. I just put in the hand in the water, and then the mud disappears. It becomes clean. And then your hand is very greasy. With grease. Oh, last time I washed with water and wet. And you put in water, will it go? It will not go. But it's also adventitious stain. It's also not intrinsic, like the mud before. In the water, it goes away. Why not this one? Why not? Hey. Huh? It's deeper. It goes into skin. Yes, because the grease does not dissolve in the water. Water is not the antidote of the grease. You're getting it? Whereas the water is the antidote to the mud. Mud instantly dissolves into the water. So it is not the counterforce of the grease. So if you don't know the nature of the grease, the nature of the mud to be different, you think that just as the water dissolves the mud and cleanses your hand, you'll think that it'll also cleanse your grease from your hand. But this is your deception. This is your mistake. So to know that whether the water can wash this particular stain, what should you do? You should know the nature of the stain. You're getting it? Likewise, we have to know the nature of the afflictive obscurations and the cognitive obscurations in order to apply remedies to remove these two. We have to know the nature of these two. So first, afflictive obscuration. What is afflictive obscuration? What we said is that the function of that is to stop you from experiencing the fearlessness. In other words, this attracts all the fears of life. Afflictive obscuration, it attracts all the fears. What is that line? What's the nature of the afflictive obscurations? To know this, we have to first know what kinds of afflictive obscurations are there. There are three kinds. Broadly speaking, two, but more technically, three. Broadly speaking, two kinds, technically, three. What are the two? Contaminated karmas and afflictions. Contaminated karmas and afflictions. Okay. Contaminated karmas meaning the physical, let's say the what do you think I'm doing? Just look at me. What do you think I'm doing? Okay. What do you think I'm thinking? You getting it? Ready? What do you think I'm thinking? What do you think I'm thinking? Hey, Jean? Oh, he must be thirsty, right? He must be thirsty. He's looking for something, or he's looking for water. He's looking for something to drink, right? So, what is that? The thinking of something to drink. Is that a physical gesture, or is it a mental phenomena? Thinking of something to drink. Is it physical or mental? It's a mental phenomena. You're getting it? But this mental phenomena is expressed in the physical expression. It's expressed. You can see what's going in my mind by looking at my physical expression. For example, you said, "Good morning, sir," and I said, "Good morning." Right? Which means that he's very unhappy. Right? He's unhappy. Either he's unhappy with me, or he got a bad news from somewhere. Right? In the mind, he's not happy. So this verbal expression infers what's going in my mind. Physical action infers what's going in my mind. So these actions, these are known as the karmas. Karmas. Physical, verbal, mental activities. These are known as the karmas. And these karmas are driven by what? For example, like my hand goes after like this. Like this, my hand goes after this. What do you think he's going to do? Again, he's going to give the example. Use this as an example. You're getting it? Same, the thought of using this example comes to my mind. So in other words, my hand was reaching out to the flower. What dictated this hand to go towards the flower? What dictated this hand to go towards the flower? Huh? A thought inside me, a mind inside me. You're getting it? Mind inside me. That made me to move my hand there. You're getting it? So, which means that these actions are driven by some thought processes. The desire to look for desire to get the flower, desire to get water. In the morning, desire to have the sunshine, right? Desire to have sunshine. So, say the end, when they say, "I'm looking for something to drink," and then you bring, okay, say, you bring up plain water, right? Plain, okay. In fact, there was a clip. I don't know how many of you have seen that. A toddler in the baby chair. In a baby chair, the toddler, the mother gave him, this toddler was asking for something, and the mother gave him some noodles. Looked at it and pushed it. Right? You remember that? Okay. Then the mother gave him something else. Again, looked at it and pushed it. And finally, wine in a wine glass was given, put there. Looked at it, and he was so happy. He is not a toddler. He is not a toddler. He must be alcoholic in the past life. He's not a toddler. So look, what made him to push this? What made him push the noodles and these things? What made him push? So this is action of pushing. What made him push? Because of the disliking towards the noodles. Disliking. That disliking is an emotional state which made him to push things away from him. And then with alcohol, there's a smile coming on him. This toddler, physically toddler, smile coming. So what is this? Desire for alcohol. this desire for alcohol, that desire inside, that is the emotion, that's the affliction which made him to make the alcohol come closer. You're getting it? So these actions are driven by these karmas. These karmas, negative karmas, they are driven by the emotional, destructive emotional states, destructive emotions. These destructive emotions are known as afflictions. Afflictions drive your karmas. You're getting it? And karmas can be not only negative, it can be positive also. Positive karmas also. So, karmas, contaminate karmas, and afflictions. Afflictions are the ones in the state of the emotion, destructive emotion, which drives your physical, verbal, and mental activities. Okay, so afflictive obscurations is of two kinds: contaminant karmas and afflictions. And if you want to go for the technical side, 3, that is the active seeds of the contaminant karmas and afflictions. Active seeds of the first 2 included, it becomes 3. Okay, what does it mean by active seeds? This is a question. For example, how many are angry now? Nobody's angry, right? Nobody's angry. But after the course, you may going back home. Your mom tells you like a cup of tea. What cup of tea? Right? Your husband tells you, cup of tea. What cup of tea? Or your wife tells you, cup of tea. What cup of tea? There's anger coming. So where is this anger coming from? When you're in Depa, you're so peaceful, so loving, smiling, happy. Where is this coming from? You're getting it? Where is this coming from? There's a seed inside. There's a potential inside. Although there's no manifest anger, but the potential of the anger is still within us. So that then anytime manifests. Apple seed is not apple. Apple seed is not apple, but it'll give rise to apples. Likewise, seeds of anger is not anger, but it'll give rise to the anger eventually. So this is known as the active seeds. Burnt seeds, they will never give rise to the apples. Burnt apple seeds will not give rise to the apple trees. So burnt seeds, it should be the active seeds, not the burnt seeds. Okay, what are the 3 kinds of afflictive obscurations? Contaminant karmas, afflictions, and active seeds of the first 2. These are the 3. And generally speaking, if you look at many of the very authentic texts, you see the afflictive obscurations identified as afflictions and contaminant karmas. Only 2. But if that's the case, then the active seeds are included as implicitly indicated. Active seeds are implicitly indicated. Okay, then what is next now? Afflictive obscurations done. So now your job is what? Your job is to remove the afflictive obscurations. You have to remove the contaminant karmas and the afflictions and the active seeds, right? That is what you mean. For that, you need to know what is the contaminant karmas. To remove that, to remove the root. The root is afflictions. What's the root of the afflictions? Okay, how many of you fought in the dream? How many of you fought in the dream? Verbally, physically sometimes, in the dream, in a sense? Okay. So, fighting. Why did you fight? Why did you fight? Because of the disliking towards that person this person, right? Dislike towards that person in the dream. So this disliking, that is the driving force which made you physically fight. Physical fight is the karma. This contaminant karma. That is driven by the anger inside. Right? And when will this anger towards this dream person, when will it stop? You wake up. Right? Which means that if this anger towards the dream person is because of the dream, seeing the dream is real. Seeing the dream is real is ignorance. Okay, now tell me, what is that thing which is common between the 2 things? Dreaming of fighting with a person, dreaming of being kind to the other person. There are so many similarities between these 2 dreams. What are the similarities? Anyone? Both are dreams. What else? Both are subjective. Both are subjective. Right? Both are not real. Okay. So, do you see that the moment you see that it is subjective, then the dream anger towards the dream person will stop. Yes? No? Dream anger towards the dream person will stop. The moment you... So therefore from this we can see that dream fight is because of the anger towards the dream person. Anger towards dream person was again rooted to the belief in the dream person as real. You're getting it? So these two are connected. One is the physical fight with the dream person. Number two is that is driven by anger towards the dream person. Number two, that's affliction. So this affliction is because of seeing the dream person as objectively real. So seeing the dream person objectively real, that is ignorance. So therefore at the root is the ignorance. All our contaminant karmas are driven by the afflictions, and afflictions are driven by the ignorance of seeing things as objectively real. So if you don't want the contaminant karmas, what should you do? If you want to stop the contaminant karmas altogether, what should you do? You should stop all the afflictions. If you want to stop all the afflictions, what should you do? You should stop all the ignorance, seeing things as objectively real. You have to stop that. How to stop that? How to stop the ignorance, seeing things as objectively real? Knowing things as subjectively real. You're getting it? Okay, knowing things as subjectively real. Now, okay, how many of you agree with Ishita? Huh? How to get rid of this ignorance, seeing things as objectively real by knowing things as subjectively real? How many agree with the Ishita reasons? How many are not too happy with the Ishita reasons? Or how many you are? Huh? Not sure? Huh? You agree? You agree with Ishita? Not Ishita? Not agree. Partly. Why partly?
Knowing is not enough.
Okay. Okay. Yes, say more. Just knowing is not enough. What do we need?
Experience, practice. Because at intellectual level, we know all this, but when we actually face life on a daily basis, it's difficult to know that everything is subjective. So you need to practice and experience. The experiential wisdom has to come.
Difficult to know meaning you have not known.
No, you have experienced it. Like to experience an apple when you're eating it, you have to experience the subjectivity, which can come only from practicing and meditation. So it's okay to know.
What should we practice?
So that is what you need to know. Just knowing it intellectual level doesn't help.
Then
You need to experience that wisdom.
how to experience it?
So that you need to through practice of meditation.
How to practice?
You have to practice. How do I practice? And not keep it only as intellectual level.
Okay, good.
There's more into that, because even when we wake up from a bad dream, we still continue to fear for a while, and we still have high pulse and sweat. Even we know
Residue is there.
So it takes time to assimilate the fact that it was a dream. And it has to be once and for all, because when we are awakened, we still don't want to have bad dreams.
Yes.
Means there is still fear even from the dream, even you know it's a dream, you want to avoid it.
Yes.
So therefore, the dream has to eradicate it once and for all.
Okay, so this dream must be stopped altogether, completely, to make sure that it does not repeat, it does not relapse. Very good. Okay, what more to add?
I mean, I think it would require one to have the experience of seeing emptiness, having experience of emptiness of an object.
Okay, thank you. Adi, thank you so much. Your name? Sangeeta Tabashir. Okay, thank you. Yes, this is where Okay, let's say that we study emptiness, objectivity, subjectivity, empty of objectivity. We learn these things. How many of you learned it already? Raise hands. Sonamla, Chorula, raise hands. How many of you learned it? Ajirji, raise hands. Hey, raise hands. Raise hands. Raise hands. How many have learned that things are all subjective? Raise hands. Omar, Kate, Osala, Kinyamala, Yambela. Okay, Dorji. Yes. And Yandela. Yes. Okay, so many of us, we all learned it, right? Now, we have all learned. We already know. We already know it, right? When somebody in public, if somebody says, what stupid thing that you're doing? How stupid you are, right? When somebody says like this, what's your reaction? Ajirji, should I become angry? Right? Of course, right? It's so inhumane to humiliate you in public. Okay, I have to meditate in anger. Is that how you do? Or how does it work? The anger, how does it arise? If somebody says, Ishita, what a stupid girl, you are so young, why you go to Tibet, what? Jeba for this course, this is only for plus 30, 40 plus. Right? What a stupid girl. Why don't you go to do your college or university? Why? Then you become angry or not angry? In public, in front of your parents. Anger, do you have to ask Ajiriji, should I become angry? No, then how does it rise? It's spontaneous. It's so effective. Anger is so high quality, right? It's high quality, it's amazing. It simply erupts, explodes within the mind. So now, what's the counterforce? Is to see the wisdom of empty of objective reality, right? So what is the wisdom empty wisdom emptiness? Morning you have to wake up, the bell. Morning bell tomorrow, let's see. Right? Morning 5:30, bell rings. Okay, shall I go, not go? This is wisdom. Shall I go, not go? Right? Shall I go, not go? He said that not compulsory. Right? Right? Okay, so this is wisdom. So you know how the crime and the police as a counterforce. The crime effectively done in half an hour, and the police comes only after 10 hours. Right? Crime finished, people ran, finished, and the police still not seen there. Only after 10 hours the policemen come. Not all. In some cases, it happens like this. So the counterforce is so slow, whereas the negative forces, they are extremely effective. You getting it? So now our counterforce as well should be cultivated, as well should be trained in such a way that it is as effective as the negative forces. Just as negative forces are extremely intense, the counterforce, the wisdom of emptiness, should also be very intense. Just as negative forces are so spontaneous, the counterforce as well should be trained to make it very spontaneous. This should be our job. So how will that happen? It happens only when you have what is known as the meditative experience of the emptiness of objectivity. This is known as the wisdom derived through meditation. To get to this level of the wisdom derived through meditation, it must be preceded by the wisdom derived through reflection, number 2. First, you must be convinced. So there are 3 wisdoms. Number 1, wisdom derived through learning. Number 2, wisdom derived through reflection. Number 3, wisdom derived through meditation. 3 wisdoms are there. Let me repeat it. Wisdom derived through learning, wisdom derived through reflection, wisdom derived through meditation. These 3. And for finally what transforms your mind, where your negative thoughts, for example, the fear, the sadness, anger, when they arise, what can counteract? What can they counteract these very effectively is the wisdom derived through meditation. For to reach to that level, we must have the second one, wisdom derived through reflection. For to have the wisdom derived through reflection, we need to have the wisdom derived through learning. So what are these like? First, let's say wisdom derived through learning. For example, how many of you know that how many of you know the equation E equals mc square? E equals mc square. Raise hands. How many heard this equation in your life? Right? I heard it. If you tell me, how is E equals mc square? I have no clue. You getting it? This is simply what I learned. I copied, I mimicked Albert Einstein. This is a borrowed knowledge. It is not my knowledge. It's a borrowed knowledge. When a knowledge is a borrowed knowledge, when it is not your knowledge, this is known as wisdom derived through learning. But this borrowed knowledge is so important. Without this borrowed knowledge, you will never have your own knowledge. What is your own knowledge? The first time that you get your own knowledge is the wisdom derived through reflection. What is the wisdom derived through reflection? The first moment you get the conviction that is very true, that everything is empty of objective reality. When you get the conviction, it's very true that what I'm seeing is not reality. Object that I'm seeing is not object real. When you get conviction, it becomes your own knowledge. That becomes the wisdom derived through reflection. This is number 2. Okay, let me give you an example. This is a very simple example, yet we must have this. Let's say, when I was very young, maybe age 6 or age 5, say my mathematics teacher, she taught us the multiplication table, and she said that tomorrow you have to memorize this multiplication table of 3. And unlike many of you younger ones who, your parents send you to coaching. Parents also, sit with you. For us, nobody say we are so free. We are so totally free. Out of class, finish. Nobody's there to, worry about us. Right? So whereas the many younger ones here, right, you are being bothered by your parents. After class, go to coaching, sit with me, where's your homework? Nobody's there to tell us, where's your homework, right? Totally free, right? And then the next day, the teacher said, hey, Dorji, recite multiplication table, the multiplication of 3, recite. No clue. Nobody was there yesterday. Where's your homework? Nobody, right? So, totally free. Which mind was totally free, no multiplication table in my mind. And then, hey Dorji, recite 3 ones are, that's easy. 3 ones are 3, good. 3 twos are, no clue, right? Then my fingers become busy. I was just 5-6 years old. My hands go behind. So 3 twos are 4, 3 ones are 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, good. 3 threes are 7, 8, 9, 9, good, right? So this is a borrowed knowledge. This is not my real knowledge. But I get the correct answer. This is a borrowed knowledge. This is just the wisdom derived through not learning, not the wisdom derived through reflection. Today if you ask me, Dorji, what is 3 into 3? I said 9. How do you know that? I know that. Same if there are 3. Anu, Vijay, the Omananda, I have to give them 3 apples each. 3 people, 3 apples each. I have to take 9 apples. 3 people into 3 apples, 9 apples. I have to carry 9 apples with me. This is my own knowledge now. This is known as the wisdom derived through reflection. When you get the conviction, that becomes your own knowledge. One time there was a young boy who must be age 6 or 7, and he was the son of my host. And I gave him some almonds, and he said, I like almonds, and he enjoying it. One point, he picked one almond and told me that inside is white. The inside is white. This is what he told me. Inside of this almond is white. I was so curious to see how what we study of the wisdom draw through reflection, the learning, reflection, meditation. I want to see his psychology. I told him, how do you know? He said that. Did your teacher told you this? He said, no. Then how do you know? He said, I know it myself. Which means he's saying that I'm convinced of this. I don't have to cite anybody. I don't have to quote anybody. I know this. And then he says, show me how is it the white? How can you convince that it's the white inside? Then he broke it and showed, look, this white. I said, wow, that's amazing. How do you know this? He said, I know this on my own. Right? So what he's saying that I have the wisdom draw through reflection. He's not quoting somebody. So it is his own conviction. That is known as wisdom draw through reflection. Then the next part is, okay, how many of you know mathematics? Raise your hands. You don't be scared of mathematics. I'll give you very simple mathematics. Very simple, I promise. Very simple. Plus and minus only. Not multiplication, no divisions. Easy. And the numbers below 3. Ready? Okay, let's do it. Do the mathematical calculation mentally. Only when I ask what is the answer, I give an answer. Till that point, don't utter a word. Do everything mentally. You ready? Okay. 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2 minus 1. What's the answer? That's amazing. Wonderful. Okay, let's do it again. The same. I promise not to complicate it more. It's just the same. Ready? Okay. Same thing. Don't give me an answer till I ask you to answer. Ready? 2 plus 2 plus 3 minus 1 plus 2 plus 3 minus 1 plus 2 plus 3 minus 1 plus 2. What's the answer? No. 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 No, it's different. What's the answer? You don't know. Or tell me why you cannot give the answer to the next. It's all the numbers less than 3 is only plus, minus. Why? Because I said it too fast. I said it too fast. How many agree with this reasons? Very good. Okay. This is your wisdom. Your wisdom is not fast. I said it fast, and your mind cannot move that fast. Your anger is very fast. Your anger is very fast. Attachment is very fast. Afflictions are extremely fast. But the wisdom is very slow. Right? So this is your wisdom. Which wisdom? 2 plus 3, 1 plus 1. This, even that is very slow. Right? Wisdom of emptiness. You're getting it? So our wisdom is so slow. So now we have to upgrade this. Upgrade this slow wisdom, which is so slow at the moment, to a very fast, rusty wisdom, to a very qualitative wisdom. This is a job. So, how to do it? How do you do it? How do you do it? No, but okay, forget about meditation, right? Just how to do this? 2 plus 3 plus 1 plus 1. This, how to make it faster? Huh? Practice. Practice. Just do it. What do you mean by practice? Repeat it. So repeating these virtues is known as meditation. You're getting it? Repeating your virtues is meditation. This is the meaning of the meditation. So the wisdom drawn through meditation is simply to whatever conviction that you gain, to make it very fast and to make it very of high quality. It has to be repeated over and over again. This repetition of the virtue over and over again is known as meditation. This is meditation. So, at times, at a certain point, when this wisdom of emptiness, this mathematical calculation, they become so fast and high quality. That is known as wisdom drawn through meditation. You getting it? Okay. So only then, within this, again, there are the nuances. There are the nuanced classifications. Within that, some are more higher level, some are less. They're less intense, less qualitative. So within that, there are divisions there. It doesn't matter for time we keep it there. So to reach to that level, that must be preceded by the wisdom drawn through reflection. To get to this level of the wisdom drawn through reflection, it must be preceded by the wisdom drawn through learning. Many people, and here I'm not too sure, but many people who are in Buddhism, I don't know about other religions, in Buddhism, many people, they have a belief that if, some teachers, some high lamas, they touch me, right? Then some miracle will happen, right? No, there's no such miracle, right? Wisdom of emptiness. If a highly realized teacher touches my head and bless me, then I'll have the wisdom of emptiness. I said, it is totally impossible. It is impossible. I can prove it. How are we going to prove it? This is your question. I can prove it by saying that no matter how many Buddhas they bless you, Buddhas, forget about the enlightened other teachers, even the Buddhas, they bless you, you cannot become the Nobel laureate in physics until you study physics well. Do you agree with me or not? No matter how much somebody blesses you, you cannot become the Nobel laureate until you study physics well. You cannot become Nobel laureate in physics. So, realizing emptiness to that high level is far more complicated than become a Nobel laureate in physics. Let's not forget it. If you cannot become a Nobel laureate in physics without studying this, without studying emptiness, you cannot expect to realize emptiness. And it's all deception. If somebody tells you that with the blessings of the Guru, you will have to realize emptiness without your studying effort, without putting effort in your studies on emptiness, this is a false propaganda. Let's not forget it. It should be your effort. The Buddha said, you are the master of yourself. Who else is there as your master? The one who tames one's mind is the wise and will be liberated. This is the only way how it works. So therefore, we have to study. Therefore, we have to bring about transformation in the mind, transforming the mind of the fear to the fearlessness, transforming the mind of the ignorance to the wisdom, from the selfishness, from being selfish to the compassion. It can be done only through the wisdom of the meditation, wisdom drawn through meditation, which is possible only through the wisdom drawn through reflection, which in turn is possible only through the wisdom drawn through learning. So which we are doing the 7 days here is primarily for that purpose. So be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself, meaning that take yourself away from suffering and expand your circle of happiness. This is the meaning of be kind to yourself. How to do that? By being wisely kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself and be wisely kind to yourself. Don't fool yourself. Put the right effort to accomplish what you're seeking. Don't go in the opposite direction, expecting the result which is happening don't go to the east, where the result is happening in the west. Right? Don't expect the result in the west by going towards the east. Okay, this is the whole purpose for all of us, the next 1 week. Okay, we'll stop here. Deyata Om Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhisvatyatam Om Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha Tyatam Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha